Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name, CB Studios, also known as Kurt, and we're back on the channel with another really cool retro, nearing vintage, prop replica review video. Freddy Vs Jason is a movie that's very, very dear to me, and I kind of credit with getting me properly into horror movies in general. Freddy Krueger, one of the coolest characters ever put to screen. Jason Voorhees is just a mayhem-killing machine in a hockey mask. Like, you put those two in a movie, and you have them fight, and it's just the greatest thing that you could possibly want. Say what you want about the movie itself, but I absolutely adore it. It is an absolute party of a film. It's described as a popcorn movie quite a lot, and I don't disagree with that at all. It makes you want to shovel a whole lot of popcorn into your face while you watch Freddy and Jason beat the ever-loving piss out of each other. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I absolutely adore this film. So good, so good. But the marketing hype around that movie really just stuck with young me, and I remember seeing the big vinyl banners for Freddy vs. Jason. I remember seeing the posters everywhere, trailers on TV. It was around Halloween time. One of the movie channels was showing A Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, and 3, and they had the TV spots for Freddy vs. Jason in the middle of those showings. It was just a great time. One of the really cool things about the Freddy vs. Jason marketing push was the merchandise. Now, NECA Official, or NECA Toys, the National Entertainment Collectibles Association, did have the license for Freddy vs. Jason back in 2003 and 2004. I've showcased on this channel before my Freddy vs. Jason Freddy glove that I built from a Ruby's one, but also my resin Jason mask from NECA. What does that have to do with this video? One of the other things, the white whale of my collection, that NECA brought out in 2004 was they did a full-size, cast from original, we'll say, resin replica set of Freddy's glove and Jason's mask. And that is what we are looking at today. Now, this isn't a shadow box, this is secondhand. There's a lot to go into with this one, but because we have a polycarbonate screen on the front, I'm going to take that screen out so that you can actually see what the prop is. I'm going to go over the history and why I'm so excited for this. Let's check it out. Like many of NECA's props and prop replicas, display pieces that they brought out in the early to mid 2000s, there's a clear polycarbonate screen in front of this shadow box. Now, this screen gets scratched really, really easily, especially as you bring it in and out of the box. I'm not super worried about that, and it's probably something I will try and replace with some UV-tempered glass later on down the line. I've got a NECA Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl Jack Sparrow cutlass. That's a big resin cutlass replica by NECA, and same sort of shadow box setup, same sort of giant piece of polycarbonate in the front. Not super worried. Gonna pop this on the floor. We're gonna jump into this. Now this is my white whale. This is something that I have been chasing for so very, very long, and it is just a really, really, really cool prop replica. Now, the reason that I've been chasing it for so long is these are actually made entirely of resin, and they're very, very brittle. In fact, it's quite common to see the blades cracking or breaking off on the Freddy glove, even though they are reinforced with wire down the middle. This shadow box represents Freddy's glove and Jason's mask from Versus, and I found this on Marketplace. This showed up actually about 2 weeks before I went to Japan, and I've just spent 3 weeks in Japan for Star Wars Celebration, and I didn't want to spend the money on that before I left. I figured, okay, cool, well, it's not labeled really great, so I guess we could just leave it up there and see if it's still there when I get back. And I got back, and it was still there. So I threw them an offer. I actually lowballed them just a little bit on this one, as the description was pretty vague, and the photos really didn't show the condition of the item, but I could tell that it was very, very dirty. And they said, yep, come pick it up tomorrow, and I did. I'll pop in some pictures right now of the condition this was when I got it. Obviously, it's been on display since 2004. The lady I bought it from said that it was her mum's, and her mum had had it on display for ages. And even after a bit of a clean, we've got some what looks to be drink residue maybe on the top. There's a price sticker residue on the side as well. There's some scratches and little bits and pieces. But because it's a polycarbonate shadow box, aside from some dust inside, it was actually really, really, really clean inside. It was just the outside that had most of the damage. The glove and mask in here are in spectacular condition. They are literally mint condition. They're beautiful. The hockey mask, from what I can tell, is exactly the same as the mass-produced replica, or the mainline replica of Jason's mask from Freddy Vs Jason. That was the first hockey mask that NECA actually brought out as a prop replica. And that was back in like 2012 or 2013. It's been quite a while now since that one's been available, and they do command some pretty high prices on the secondhand market. The big difference with this mask is this mask actually has the correct leather straps. The mainline release has elastic with some little chintzy plastic looking rivets. These actually have the correct rivets with the washer underneath them, as well as the leather straps, and I can just see in through the back, and I'll try and get some B-roll footage for the end. It actually looks like it's got the correct metal buckles and strapping system for the Versus mask. Now, these pieces are permanently attached in. They are screwed in through the back of the box. I'll show you that in a second. So I could potentially try and take them out, and I think I will, but it won't be for this video. If I do, I might do a little bit at the end. But I really want to get a closer look at this Jason mask eventually. And I'd love to have a look at how accurate this Freddy glove really is, because it does look quite accurate to the Versus one. Alright, so I filmed this. This is a couple of hours after I filmed my initial video. And because I can't keep well enough alone, I did desperately want to have a look at these pieces out of the shadow box. Now, I'm pretty confident with my skills with tools, and also my knowledge of working with really delicate resins and props and things like that, that I would be able to do this without causing any damage. I will say it is very, very nerve-wracking. I don't recommend trying this yourself if you do have one of these sets, but I mean, it worked for me. First important thing is that while these on their packaging does say not removable pieces, they technically are. You are running a risk to do that, but they are actually removable. This little placard here, this little stand, if we get into the back, you'll see two tiny screw holes here, 1 and 2, and they are these nice little wood screws. I think that this is resin as well. That's actually glued in, and you can see a little line down the bottom there that looks to be probably epoxy, where I think it's been epoxied into this box. So, important to remember, you can't get that out. The issue with that is you need to take out Freddy's glove before you can take out Jason's mask. That is very, very difficult to do with this piece in place, because obviously you want to be able to get the blades out of the eye holes of the mask without cracking them. I managed to do that, but it is very, very nerve-wracking, and I'm a little worried about getting it back into place. You can see my twist ties there. I will be putting the exact same twist ties back in. We've got where the Freddy glove was attached, and we have where the Jason's mask was attached, and there's 2 little pieces of EVA foam that were under the mask there. So this will all be going back into place. I did have to loosen off the nuts on the back of these, just to allow me to jiggle the mask backwards, but that's where these pieces sit. And now for what you're actually looking for, is we're going to have a look at the hockey mask, and then we're going to take a look at Freddy's glove over here. So the hockey mask does appear to be the exact same mold of hockey mask as the original NECA ones. In fact, here it is with my original NECA Freddy vs. Jason now. This has been through a lot of hell. I've had a lot of paint failure as this was stored in a box with some vinyl fabric, which has obviously screwed up my paint. And this latest repaint was designed to look more like the end battle of Freddy vs. Jason. We do also have a pretty significant crack where that entire chunk popped out. There's a crack up in the top as well. But this, the bare bones of this is the NECA one, obviously new straps and new paint. If we flip this over, that'll give you an idea on what the original paint looked like, and you can see all of my yellowed epoxy repairs on the inside. We have the one out of this display piece, and I'm going to say that we are pretty well identical in there. You've got the big circular indent in the back of the forehead. We've got your fiberglass matting texture that is, if I really wanted to, I could probably double check and make sure that that matches up. But the big things to take away is because these are cast resin, there's a big whoop, whoop mark here that's also there whoop, whoop, on this new one. I reckon you'd be able to pretty well match those identically together. Now, obviously, we've seen the paint job on the new mask. I really like this. It's actually quite accurate, and it does look like the detail on this mask. While you can't see it on my other one, this detail's much sharper and much deeper. I would say it's a much more accurate representation of Jason's mask from this film, or at least the casting that it is. We have these really nice leather straps and correct, like, harness setup, which is bizarre, because you can't see this on the mask at all. Now, we do have a lot of... Come on, focus, focus, focus. We have a lot of cracking on the straps, but we've got the correct O-ring in the back. We have the adjustable things. Like, you could absolutely set this up to be a wearable hockey mask if you truly wanted to. It's probably cheaper at this point to grab one of the official NECA ones, the standalone release, and work from there. But that's really interesting. So, now we're going to take a look at Freddy's glove. And Freddy's glove is not wearable at all. In fact, it is a big chunk of resin. I love that it's been sculpted with a full hand in there. And in fact, you can see fingernails and bits and pieces. It does appear that the fingertips are a separately applied piece, or each of them is separately applied. We've got a nice big glob of epoxy in there as well, which would make sense from a molding standpoint. So the fingertip with the blade attached is going to be cast in one piece. We've got actually a really nice representation of Freddy's glove, and even down to the leather on the glove is accurate to the Freddy vs. Jason style. Pretty nice paint job, pretty convincing for a big resin piece. You can see that we've got a nice piece of screw doweling in there, the plastic, so that it can attach in. That's the screw hole that goes through the base. So this actually sits against, this rivet actually sits against the bottom of the case. We've got a pretty good, not spectacular, but a pretty good paint up on this glove overall. It's really nice. The glove is where most of the weight comes in, and honestly, that's about 600 to 700 grams just for the glove there. And you can see how thin and actually how posed those blades are as well. I'm not 100% sure about the shape on those blades being super accurate to Versus. They look a little New Nightmare-ish to me. But that's interesting, and really you don't notice it when it's in the display case. So, yeah, that's just, I wanted to pop this open and give a look at the pieces as I got them out. Curiosity kills the Kurt. And so I desperately wanted to see exactly what this glove really looked like. I really wanted to see how that strapping setup was on the inside of this mask. And it blows me away that it's accurate. Because, yeah, it's just a weird T-shaped piece of elastic with some chintzy rivets on the mainline release. And then this one has actually a really nice replica harness setup that you'd never see unless CB Studios took it apart for you. Anyway, back to our video. Now, the Freddy glove is a second piece in there. It's separately bolted in. The blades are very, very thin, and the resin that they use for these replicas is super, super cheap. Not to shit on their quality or anything, but like the technology of resins back 20 years ago, 22 years ago, when this was actually made, they weren't spectacular. And so a lot of NECA replicas that you will see do have cracking and breaking, and that's just a thing that happens. This one has all of the blades intact. It doesn't look like there's any chipping, any signs of stress fractures or anything like that on it, which is spectacular. I'm really, really happy with that. A lot of the ones that you do see online do have that damage that just, you know, comes with age and moving things around, and it's very, very fragile. You can't quite see it from this angle here, but we've got a really nice, like, maroon red velvet in the back, like a felt covering to the back of it. Box is all wood as well, so it's nice and sturdy. And then down the bottom, we do have a little plaque that says Freddy vs. Jason, with a little trademark symbol next to it. It says Jason's mask and Freddy's glove. It's beautifully presented, and honestly, I really wish NECA still did prop replica pieces like this. I love their current range of things, but like, this is just above and beyond. Flipping our box around, you can see the back here. We've got some screws on the back. So these screws down here are holding Freddy's glove in. It's actually screwed into the back of the glove. And these bolts up here are for these little L-shaped hooks that are hooking through the holes on the front of Jason's mask. You'll also see right here some little twist ties which go through the bottom of the mask, holding it flat against the back, stopping it from flopping around. And then underneath, We've got 2 recessed screws for the Freddy's glove and Jason's mask little placard in the front. And then we have some more, right there, some more little twist ties that are holding the gloves sort of in place as well. And in the B-roll footage, you'll be able to see that. Very interestingly, though, we do have on the bottom some information about our piece. It has our NECA official badging, stickering on there. But these are also licensed and limited edition. They are limited to 2,000 pieces. And this one happens to be number 10. So it's an incredibly early piece in the run, which is absolutely fantastic. And I had no idea what number this one would be. I actually didn't quite know where the numbering was on this. And originally, when I'd seen the photos online of this exact piece, there's a big splatter on the back that it looked like somebody had tried to remove some silver Sharpie with, say, acetone or isopropyl alcohol. And I was sort of worried that it'd lose its numbering. But numbering's actually on the bottom, so no worries there. And I'm really pleased with that. We do also have a couple of little brass picture frame hooks on the back here that you could obviously mount it to the wall should you want. I will not. I'm considering actually putting it into one of the details behind me here because it's just such an impressive display piece for what it is, for what it looks like. It's very simple. You could make one with a resin hockey mask and a NECA glove or a Ruby's glove very, very easily. But to have something that has this purported level of provenance, as well as just the overall display case, the fact that it's limited edition, it's licensed, and it's now 21 years old, it's just, there's nothing that compares to it. As you can see, I'm very, very excited to add this to my collection. It's one of the coolest pieces that I've ever seen. I remember seeing these back in the day and thinking, holy fuck, I want one, and just, I never had the money. And when I did finally start earning the money to get something like this, they obviously weren't for sale anymore, and they were very, very difficult to find. I would certainly not recommend trying to ship one of these internationally, as you are almost certainly going to cause some damage to the blades during transit. But for me, I mean, to find it only about 20 minutes down the road, I'm really, really stoked to have added this to the collection. That's about all I've got to tell you about this guy. I just really wanted to show something off that I think is really cool. I love it. I'm going to give you some really nice close-up views of this item so you can get an idea on what it actually looks like and how cool it truly is in person. If you want to pick one of these up, there are some places that do sell them sort of on consignment as a, this is an older piece kind of sale. You can certainly try and do that. My opinion is if you're going to try and pick one of these up, you want to see whether you can find it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or Gumtree, something like that, that allows you to go and have a look at the piece in person first. The amount of damage that these blades can take and the amount of damage that doesn't transfer well in photos, I would really recommend seeing it in person before you try to buy it online on eBay or anything like that. And I also would be super nervous about shipping something like this. So that's my advice for these ones. As a final note, I managed to pick this up for $150 Australian. They are going for significantly more than that usually on eBay, somewhere between the $300 and $800 mark. There's currently one on eBay Australia for $800. There is one from another collectible store here in Australia that's selling for $1,200, although those ones do come with the original shipper box, the original like shelf box, I suppose. Nice printed cardboard box that goes around the outside, but I don't need that because I'm not going to be displaying it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Thank you for coming along on this Freddy vs. Jason geek out with me. As you know, I'm an absolute diehard for Freddy and Jason, and especially the Freddy vs. Jason movie. This thing is just such a great piece to add to my collection. If you want to check out some of my other Freddy and Jason videos, I'm going to have some playlists linked at the end of this video, and maybe one or two nicely, carefully selected videos for your viewing pleasure. If you own one of these, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know what number you've got. I'd like to know if anybody's got 11 or 9. That'd be pretty cool. If you had one of these and you remember seeing it damaged or broken, I'd kind of like to hear that too. I do love to hear those sort of stories. Until next time, guys, don't fall asleep.